I'm just kind of jumping around through these charts just to see, is this an all-out bullish move? Because the first thing that most people look at in terms of retail traders, they see a move up in the markets like this, a 2% move, and big candle, and news on tariffs, and the buying algos kick on, and so people start buying hand over fist. And obviously that's not us. I want to see confirmation. I would rather look at this chart, as many of you do that have been with me for a while. I would rather look at this chart here as the pullback to go back into the short position. Because there's not a lot that has convinced me that we are not still in a corrective mode. So let's just look at both scenarios, and then you can decide for yourselves what you want to do. But look at both. So here is the big ass correction, right? Going from March. There's the correction. Boom, right? This was a little bit of a bounce. These were all bounces that turned into nothing. This was a bounce that held and turned into a little mini rebound. That rebound eventually ran out of gas and started to turn. And when it turned back under, that's when we looked at other indicators on our workspace where this was going to be kind of the continuation of this correction. And so we shorted there. Guys, remember, right? We got a little bounce here, B for bounce. These are bounces. Bounces are nothing more than just bounces. The bounce actually turned into a rebound here and then eventually failed, and then a continuation right here of the correction with another little bounce that did not turn into correction. It failed right here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, bam. So we're now back into correction mode. And then what do? Oversold, bounce, right? Then this bounce was followed by, I don't know if this was tariff talk. I don't remember exactly. It doesn't really matter. Big ass candle. But then, once this buying frenzy was over, back to correction. So it was really not a rebound. That was a bounce. A little mini bounce here, and then all of a sudden, boom, bounce. Okay, good. Does this bounce have legs? Boom, and then, it does. So now that you take out, let me just clear the decks here. Now that you see this level here, wow, big sell-off level, right? If you can get through there, that bounce is now a rebound from the correction, okay? We talk about this all the time. I'm just trying to I'm just reading Michael's thing. Made a rookie move, overbought the VIX 30 calls, left good till cancels on over the weekend, bought more at the open this morning. Yeah, well, Michael, as long as they're for June or July, I think you'll be okay. You could be okay. It's fine. So here we are, rebound, right? Then you've got some levels here that we've talked about. This is 5,600, so it's a big fat round number. You can see it kind of solidifies here, solidifies where the bounce was. Just below it solidifies where it failed here. This solidified the rebound. So 5,600, pretty important level. Then there's 57, 58, 59. So at this point, all of these levels, 58, 59, are really important levels. So here you are, you're in rebound mode. But if you look, the correction started up here. So you're not in trend until you take out that. You take out this, retest, and hold, then I'm a believer that we could actually have some kind of a rally in the month of June or July. Until that happens, though, I am not one to believe rally. Does everybody understand? This ain't a rally. This is, I mean, it's a mini rally, but I prefer to use my language because it makes sense to me, and then hopefully you will use it too. You can all see how this topping pattern fell out, and it tried a few times to make it, and it didn't. And it took out these levels. It took out the daily 200, and it was good night, Irene, right? So you now realize that this was a correction. Yes? You can see these little mini bounces as the, we're just looking at ES here, as the RSI gets oversold, oversold, oversold. So you get these bounce, bounce, oversold bounces. Do they have legs? Do they have legs? Do they have legs? Answer no. So you can trade the bounce, which we did. In other words, when you get to here, and you are oversold here, and you've got some long puts or something, or maybe you're not even in the market, and you want to play a little oversold bounce, you can put something on next day or that Friday, and then you get a little boop, and then you take your money, and that's it. That's all it is. It's a bounce. You don't lean into the trade until it pulls back to retest and then hold. Then you can add to the trade, and boom, and make money that way. Resumption of correction, add to the trade, bang, to the downside. So this is the narrative. They want you to believe this, but I'm not gonna. And I did play long trades. Right? We did actually play some long moves this way, and then we played the short moves this way. So what we did 2 weeks ago is we were long. Remember, we were long the SPY and whatever. We were long here, and we bought SQQQ calls as a hedge. So we made money here. When we started to reverse and got overbought, what did we do? We rolled these to last week. We kept these on. So now they're no longer a hedge. Now we are short the market looking for the oversold correction here, which is how we made our money last week. Apple, Amazon, PayPal, SQQQ calls. Michael, you'll remind me. Whatever other trades, we were just, knocking them down one by one on that move. So I'm pretty, I have a little bit on. Added some Apple. Excuse me. Added a little IWM, but very small amounts. Looking for some continuation here. Well, that didn't happen this morning. So what happened this morning is tariffs. Whoop. But that's okay. Good Lord. Sorry, guys. So what we have to do at this point is assess. Is this a complete reversal? Like, should I close all shorts? Do we close all shorts now? Not that we have that many. Because of this one candle here? Not so fast. We do, want to take a look and see if this is going to maybe have some legs, and does it do this? And NVIDIA has great earnings, and before you know it, woohoo, okay. If that's the case, I can take the medicine. Made a ton of money here, and I have a little bit right here. And so does it make sense to put on a hedge yet for Friday? Not just yet. Can we see how we close? Can we see what tomorrow brings? We're right on the edge of things here. I mean, we're around 59.40. So can we get up to 6,000? Maybe. But if we get to 6,000, do we tag it and then sell off? Because remember, investors are not going to just blindly buy and hold. They'll buy, but then they'll take profits. And when they do that, That's what happens here. So do we want to get rid of this now when this could potentially boom and then fail? So I don't think we are at a point where we want to remove any shorts just yet. I don't think we need a hedge because it's only Tuesday and we don't know really what's happening yet. So we look to the market internals to see where it could go from here. And our narrative is going to stay bearish as this was a rebound. We're going to stay with somewhat of a bearish narrative, but with plenty of if-thens. Well, if this happens, then I might have to put on a hedge. If this happens and I might have to close my shorts and start adding a small long exposure, and then I'll put a hedge as a put in case, I was right the first time. If this happens, then I'll do that. If yields go back up, if the dollar starts to drop, if Nvidia has bad earnings, if Apple can't get above the daily 50, if we hit 6,000 and break through, or we hit 6,000 and sell off, if the VIX gets above 20, if it fails and goes below 18, right? If, then I can start making some moves. But I do not move just because I got a green candle. Clear? Narrative still bearish.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.